Howdy Neighbors, David here. And today on Boondock Stallions, we're going to be taking a look at Season 2, Episode 2 of The Mandalorian, titled The Passenger. Now, a lot of controversy has sprung up over the last couple of weeks about Baby Yoda eating the unfertilized eggs from the Frog Lady, and while I know that everybody said that this was a filler episode, I think that him eating the eggs, or possibly not eating the eggs, is going to pay off later on down in the series. So before we get started, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already so you can continue to check out more of my crazy, wild, awesome theories and videos in the future. So let's talk about where the Frog Lady comes from. Now, it says in the episode that her homeworld was destroyed. This implies from where they are in the universe or in the timeline that she is from Alderaan. And as she's the last of her species, I don't think that she doesn't know how many eggs she has, right? I mean, she's looking to go start a new family and continue her species on another planet. So she's the last of her line. It only makes sense that she would have every single one of her eggs counted. And I don't see any reason why she wouldn't have them counted. I mean, she's a mother and the last of her kind. It seems like every one of her eggs would be precious cargo to her. So we'll get back to that here in a little while. Now, the reason I want to let y'all know that this is a wild and crazy theory is because that I've had to pull from the Harry Potter universe to try to make this work. Now, I'm currently working on a full video theory for where Lord Voldemort's wand was during his absence in the first 13 years of the Harry Potter timeline, and check out that video by clicking on the card. And so while I'm reading the books, I remembered that they give you an explanation as to how basilisks are created in the Chamber of Secrets. Now, the basilisk, if you remember, was the serpent and the monster that Salazar Slytherin had kept in the Chamber of Secrets for about 1,000 years that Voldemort used to kill Moaning Myrtle and was going to attempt to kill Harry and Ginny Weasley. And so the basilisk was created by a toad fertilizing a chicken's egg and then hatching it. That is weird, but that is what I'm applying to the Star Wars universe to make this work. Now, we don't really know anything at all about the child or Yoda's species. We don't know what their name is. We don't know what their original home planet was. We don't know what their species designation according to the universal ratification of the Shadow Proclamation is. We don't know anything at all about their species. So Disney, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni could be trying to establish how they reproduce. And I think that this episode could be a footstone in how we get started in explaining the Yoda species. So imagine that the child has sucked in all of these eggs and is going to regurgitate them after they've been fertilized back into the jar, maybe off screen between episodes, and that's how the Frog Lady doesn't realize that she should be missing eggs. I mean, she should be missing at least 3 that we counted the child eat during the episode, but she's not missing any. At least she doesn't think she's missing any, and I counted at least 25 or 26 while she was in the hot spring on the ice planet. Now, interesting thing, while they're on the ice planet, the child walks into a spider's nest, and while he's there in the spider's nest, there are a gajillion eggs. It was terrifying. It was like that scene in Aliens. But the child walks up to one of the eggs, cracks it open, reaches in, grabs the little slimy infant inside of it, tears its head off, and starts to gnaw on it and feed himself using it. And as we've seen from even season 1, the child has no problem feeding itself on other living creatures. And so the fact that it's not chewing these eggs but swallowing them whole seems significant to me. It seems like, I said, he could have off camera regurgitated maybe 3 fertilized eggs to the 26 unfertilized eggs, so that when they were fertilized by Frog Lady's husband at a later time, one of those eggs had the potential to hatch and be whatever Yoda and the child's species is. Now, we saw a tadpole hatch in the next episode. And I don't know about you guys, but I was absolutely terrified watching that episode because, like I said, we'd seen the child crack open an egg and pull the baby out and eat it, and I was sitting there just, please don't let him eat it. Please don't let him eat it. Please. Okay, let him eat it. But he didn't eat it, and it was significant that the child was playing with the tadpole and seemed to be reaching for it and longing to be with it whenever Mando picked them up and they left at the end of the episode. And the reason is because a tadpole doesn't look like a frog, and this tadpole could in fact at a later time grow to be whatever the child and Yoda species is. It would even kind of help lend itself to explaining why the child seems to have no parents. It's 50 years old. Chances are most species don't live as long as Yoda species. I mean, we know Chewbacca and his species live for a few hundred years, and a few other species do, but there's every chance that whatever reptilian or amphibious creature hatched this egg that the child came from died and could no longer care for it, or even once realizing that the thing wasn't one of its own children, decided not to raise it and abandon it. There's a million reasons, even more I expect in the Star Wars universe, as to why a parent would leave its child and why the baby Yoda doesn't seem to have any relations. And this could be it. It's a perfect defense mechanism when you think about it, because like I said, we don't know where Yoda species come from or how they reproduce. And if the way they reproduce is by fertilizing a few of the eggs of other amphibious creatures on swamp-like planets, then it would explain how the child came into existence and what he was doing in that episode, and it would really make it less evil of him to be eating unfertilized eggs. And I say evil, but I didn't have a problem with him eating it. I mean, it was meant to be dark humor, and I'm sorry, but dark humor, like food, is not something that everybody gets. So that's my crazy Star Wars theory. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.